YouTube, welcome to the Meta Weekly Top 16. This is the final event, the final stream, the final finale before the big new year, third year anniversary coming out this week. We're going to be streaming it on Thursday. It's going to be great. And as the other anniversaries, it should be a massive meta shakeup. We had Sprite for the first year anniversary, dominated everything. It wasn't Tearlament that came out the New Year anniversary. And then the second year anniversary, I think they won up to themselves. They gave us Diablo Star, Snake Eye with Poplar, full power. That was absolutely absurd. What is Konami cooking up for the third year anniversary, which is the biggest month of every year for Master Duel? It's when they make the absolute most money possible. So do get ready for that for this week. You are going to be enjoying it big time, believe me. Now, with that said, by watching as long as you can, that greatly supports me, even if we're on in the background. Hajime.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Quem on summon send from the deck, and Albaz then pass. Now, with a branded in red, we could very easily add back the Albaz, then fuse into a Mirror Jade play. We also have Super Poly, and there we go. We have about 2 disruptions here. Okay, let's go. Now, ideally, it's 3 disruption, and the way it could be 3 disruption only if the opponent does not play around it correctly, which would be summoning a monster from the extra deck to trigger the Quem, to reborn the Albaz, to discard a card to fuse with the opponent's card, and that would be quite troublesome. So how can we deal with Quem without using the extra deck? We're going to pop from our hand in Volcanics to grab a Ponix. Ponix will trigger, summoning itself onto the field here. We may want to be setting up a Skyburn play, especially since we already have a Sanctuary. Before we touch the extra deck here, the extra deck is poison. Do not touch it with Quem on the field. Wow, that's a lot of poppage. We're going for everything besides the Quem, taking out the Super Poly and the Brandon in red. We're going to chain Max C. Now, is this in addition to us using the Mulcharmy? We Fool Lost and we Max Seed. We're going to be drawing 2 cards of a monster summoned from the extra deck. Now, the Super Poly being chained to the Max Seed means that they'll just be drawing 1 card off of the Super Poly. Discard with Super Poly to get Fusion. Fuse them away as they draw a single card from the Fool Loss. Yes, brand red, add back. Now, this is a draw 2. Can we afford to give them a draw 2? I mean, if we're not going to be fusing right now, we may as well just surrender, right? We got to take the L. Going straight into that Mirror Jade. Draw 1, draw 2. We've drawn 3 so far. What is good? Garunic's going to be triggering off a fire monster to be destroyed to summon itself to then pop a card from the deck. Kieran. Unfortunately, we do have to use Mirror Jade right now unless we have a branded opening in Grave. With no branded opening in Grave, on resolution, it's a non-target destruction. The Kieran's going to reborn or summon from the hand a Fire King and then non-target destroy that Mirror Jade. It's going to get wiped out. So we are going to be banishing the Garunix, which, while it's not stopping a current play, it is still quite good to get rid of it from the game. It is not able to be used again for the rest of the duel. We have no way to recycle it. As we're going to grab a Poplar. Poplar is going to trigger off of being add. And sadly, it looks like we do have a 1-turn kill. Yes, we're going to Snake Eye Field Spell set up into the back row. Now, before we moan and groan and say that Maxi won the game, we did not get Maxi on our first turn. Our first turn was completely undisrupted. And I think many of you would agree that on turn 2, using a Maxi is a lot more fair, right? We can agree on that? Let's further link this up into a Promethean Princess. Promethean, reborn the Ponix, further turning this into a Raging Phoenix into a Zealantis. Zealantis, banish the Mirror Jade, return everything back onto the field. It's not return, it is actually a special summon, thus the Promethean does trigger. Yep, come forth, reborn, co-link it with the Zealantis, trigger the Raging Phoenix, reborn, and just like that, 8,500 damage. It is essentially a 4-monster combo. 4 bodies. To make the Zealantis plus have another body in the field. As you make Zealantis with 3 bodies with Promethean, the opponent has to also have a card on the field for you to pop with the Promethean. Otherwise, you're going to need an extra body to be able to make something like a Phoenix to then pop your own Phoenix while battling. What do we do here? We have Gold Sark, banishing from the deck our Mercurier. Mercurier will be triggering to grab our Cartesia. Cartesia is going to be waiting until we get the Albaz Engraver to special summon it for free. We're going to Ash Blossom, negate the Fool Loss, and look at that. I always tell you to do this. Eat your opponent's Ash with your non-Maxi card. Eat their finger, eat their Ash, eat their crossout designator. I don't care what it is. Save your Maxi after you use your other hand traps. And now we toss in the Maxi. Gotcha. You've been got. Big time. Was it a mistake to Ash the Fool Loss? No, it was not. Chris played correctly. And Fictinium also played correctly. It's correct play versus correct play. We're going to Alibur, search for the Branded Fusion here, send from the deck, come forth and make an Albion Sanctifier Dragon. We're going to be special summoning even under the effect of Max C. Oh boy. Now with the Albion Sanctifier, what can we do? It can't get impermanence, but it is a good time to imperm the Cartesia within the draw phase before it could activate in the main phase as a quick effect. So our only form of disruption will be the Sanctifier, reborning the Albaz to fuse with the opponent's field. And then that's going to be turning into likely a Mirror Jade to have another non-target monster banish. So that mad lad earlier that said, why is Droll Lockbird usage skyrocketing? Bro, I'm seeing it now. Yeah, what the heck? You pointed it out, and now Droll's everywhere, and I guess Molcharmy would be a good... So, good observation for you, from you. So, thank you for that. Yes. Setting up the Wanted Seeker. Let's Original Sinful. Send Diablo to summon from the deck a Snake Eye Ash. Droll Lockbird. That's it. No more adding for the rest of the turn. It's important to just never trust what anyone says, ever. Truly. Push the Cartesia, get swinging in, Sanctifier, Reborn, but since we used Droll, we now can't discard for our Albaz to fuse the opponent's field. Not that we would want to fuse with a Flameburst, right? To make a Titanclad, that wouldn't be so good. We're now going to main phase 2, Linkuriboh, triggering the Quem to reborn the Albaz. Beautiful. You have no cards in hand, but the Retribution will add that card to the hand before the Albaz hits the field to fuse away with the Linkuriboh to make our Mirror Jade. This is huge. Big play. Wow. I mean, we knew it. Yeah, that obvious setup. We knew it was happening. We had to just surrender. It was the only option. 1-1. Volcanics is going to be met with an Ash Blossom. Is Ashing Volcanics a good play? Yes, I think so. Ashing Volcanics, ashing an Ash summon from the deck. That's Snake Eye Ash. Ashing the Fire King Island. Ashing an Original Sinful. There's 4 good Ashes against a Snake Eye Fire King deck. Do I think ashing a Bonfire is good? No. The TCG, they like doing it because it plays around Droll. Now, we are going to, off the top of the deck, a Grass looking greener. So our main goal here is to eat the opponent's Ash, but they don't have it. And once we did our best to eat their Ash, we then follow up with the Grass looking green, just like that, milling a ton of cards off the top of the deck. Holy moly, what do we have? Serenir triggering. Now, Serenir is fully unlimited in today's event. Tragedy is not a trigger effect here. This is the open game state to recycle the Branded Fusion back to our field. Retribution adding the Engrave Branded Lost. Now, this is where Chris will be going out of his mind if Fictinium held onto Ash Blossom, as we did not negate a Grass looking green. We are going through with that fusion, come forth and summon Albion. That is going to be triggering its effect to fuse, plus the Branded Lost to add an Albaz monster from our deck to our hand. We already used up our normal summon. We're going to grab an Albion Shrouded Dragon. We're banishing the Mercurier and the Albaz. Mercurier will be searching for another Albaz monster as the Lubellion on summon discards the Albion. Mercurier grabbing from the deck. I would think a Cartesia could be good here since we have Albaz. Yep, there we go. Albaz Engrave allows the Cartesia to be special summoned as we make our Mirror Jade. This will be putting us at 7,300 damage, now over 8,000, but we do have the Kirin, which has to be used during the main phase. So what could have possibly happened was that we were attempting to enter the battle phase, which would turn off the Kirin. Now, by non-target monster banishing the Volcanics, do we lose? Let's read the Kirin. Kirin says, if it said special summon this card, and if you do, destroy one other fire, we would possibly be okay. That's not what it says. It says destroy a fire, and if you do, special summon this card. So by saying goodbye to the Courtier, Fire King Volcanics, if we have another fire in hand, we would still be okay, but we do not. Just like that, yeah. Fictinium knows exactly when he loses. Every time I point out, yeah, he loses, that's when the surrender button is hit. Good job to both of you. Thank you. Fictinium, you're top tier. I appreciate you greatly. Thank you. And Chris, both of you not playing your main deck. This should have been Sprite versus Madolche. We do have the ability to tribute our Synchro to negate any face-up card in the field. We have Veiler to negate a monster in the field, and then we have Ash Blossom to negate an interaction with the deck. The Veiler and the Scourge might be important to be used on that barrier statue. We may want to even save the Scourge for the next turn to ensure that we have that negate to then make the follow-up play with Snake Eye Ash. So it was a better normal because he has Tails in hand. Other turn, see, the thing you're doing is you're doing the thing called thinking. When I just like to smash the best top tier combo, Ash, Poplar, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Come forth, Unicorn. Unicorn into the Veiler, negate. Gotcha, mates. Do we follow up with the barrier statue? What else do we have? We have Ash and the Scourge. Pressure Planet into the Scourge, negate. I mean, we don't know that there's a barrier statue in the hand. We think this is a regular Kashtira deck, not one being played with Fossil Dyna and barrier statues. Tier limit Kashtira, mill 3 cards from either player. Oh, we didn't activate that. Okay. As we now make a Mecha Phantom Beast Dracosac. Back in my day, this card was over $100. Played at 3, and it was the best turn 1 play. You do that, then end your turn. That's it. Now we're going to turn the token into a Link Spider. Double Link Spider. Someone in chat says they remember. As we now make a G Golem. This G Golem Dracosac play is how you make a Heat Soul. Nicely done. Very interesting that we saw this twice today from 2 different players, right? I don't think Luigi Gundam is the one that did this earlier. Heat Soul into the draw 1 being negated by Ash Blossom. Negate. What do we have from here? To battle we go. Take out the Sylvie, then 2,800 to the face. Surprise! Barrier statue main phase 2, right? Not until we make a Zeus. Holy moly. The devastation. Well, Max C late to the party while neither player can special summon except Earth monsters. The Ash Grab Poplar can't trigger, Oak can't reborn anything. They could send the entire field to the grave in addition to disallowing special summoning. We can also draw into a hand trap here. I think Luigi, Luigi won that. Very well done. Good job. Wow, not just playing Barrier Statue. I really wonder how many normal summons he plays of disallowing special summoning. Isn't Fossil Dyna restricted in some way? I thought it got hit by the ban list. Maybe I'm confusing it with Jaugen. Fossil Dyna, it's unhit. No, it is. It's limited to 1. I'm under the TCG ban list. It is limited to 1. I did remember that correctly. So yeah, 1 Fossil Dyna plus the barrier statues. Wanted Seeker, grab a Diablo Star. Come forth, Sylvie. Sylvie grabbing a Woes from the deck. Tails of the White Forest searching for an LZ. LZ going to be sending the Woes to grab from the deck. I mean, look at this. What do we do? We got a level 4 tuner, level 2 non-tuner. The Fool losses have not been used. Are we sure that they're going to synchro? Can we confidently shotgun the Fool loss early on the resolution of the Woes being set? What do you think? We did not. Rusia special summon. Send the Birch to summon a Diablo Star. This is a ton of special summoning that the Fool Loss could not be drawing off of. Now with the original Sinful, we could finally get Fool Lossing. Ash negate the Fool Loss, but then we Fool Loss the Ash. Back-to-back Fool freaking loss. Maxi can't do this. Beautiful. Let's set the Scourge. Now, what do we have here? We do have the ability to flip the opponent's field face down. We can negate anything on the field. We can negate an interaction with the deck. We can Little Knight Unsummon Banish plus chain Little Knight Banish again. 5 disruption all through the Fualos. Nicely done. Oh, okay, barrier statue. We can still negate it with the Scourge, all right? Yeah, okay, we can still make plays though. Even if we tribute it to negate, we could then reborn our Sylvie, and then we could woes into, we still got our plays. We got all of them. We got all 5. This we're doing Scourge, negates, the Scareclaw Kashtira is an Earth, so it was special summonable. Exactly what I said's happening. Sylvie reborn from Engrave. We're going to trigger the Elzette to add back, woes summon from the deck. We're now going to flip the entire opposing field face down. Let's get flipping. Flip it down, and we still have other forms of we have 3 more forms of disruption. At the end of the main phase, we're going to make a Little Knight on summon, banish a card on field or in the graveyard. And with that, we are good. Wow. Return the Silvera back into the action deck, summon our Rusia. Elzette, send the Birch, because it's considered a spell here to grab a Sylvie from the deck. Normal summon Sylvie. Sylvie, search our deck for a Tales of the White Forest. Let's further turn this into a Rusilla. Rusilla on summon, send the Tails, search our deck for an Effect Veiler. That's crazy that you could do that. Tails triggering, a Stellar triggering because you discarded a spell trap to activate the effect. Come forth and special summon. We could then discard a spell trap to summon a monster from the deck. We'd choose to not do so, as we now make a Promethean Princess. 270 CP UR, save it for the anniversary this week. Hold. Everyone should hold. Every anniversary is big, all right? I'm not overhyping this. Hold your resources. Trigger the Flamebirch as we make our Raging Phoenix, reborning the Birch and the Poplar, searching our deck for the original Sinful. Turning the Raging Phoenix into the Zealantis. Zealantis, banish the entire field, then reborn the entire field back. Reborn their barrier back face down. That would likely be the ideal play here, as we now could trigger our Promethean Princess. Say goodbye to the Tearlament, not the Tearlament, but the Scareclaw Kashtira. Goodbye to the barrier statue, and wham bam, thank you ma'am, 10,000 damage. Game number 3. Scourge saved us big time. Impermer Scourge was needed for the barrier statue to make our other plays. Otherwise, holy moly, barrier turning off the woes, turning off the Masquerena play, that is massive. Poplar on summon, searching for the original Sinful. Hold on to the Ash. Let's link this up. Come forth, triggering the Poplar, equipping itself. Original Sinful, ready. Send the Poplar, summon from the deck. Nothing as the Ash Blossom negates. Uh-oh. What do we have from here? As our original Sinful has now been negated, we're going to set everything in pass. We have a Scourge of the White completely dead. Sinful Spoils completely dead. We do have Woes, which the Ash is going to negate. We just have Impermanence. But our hand is dead. Birth can't do anything. Theosis can't do anything. Saravis can't. 3 cards completely dead. All we have is a DD freaking Crow. Holy moly. Add a Birch, summon the Birch, send Linkuriboh plus the Ash to summon for the deck a Flamebirch. Ideally, we could DD Crow one of the level 1 fires and they don't have a third one. The problem is they have 3. The Flamebirch, non-target reborns, and there's 3 level 1s, thus the DD Crow is no good to be used. He is going to steal a fire monster from the opposing player's graveyard, further turning this into a Promethean Princess. And now we're going to be DD Crowing the attempt to reborn the Flamebirch. Again, we don't target on the reborn, so we can now choose something else. Non-target reborn, we got the Birch, Divine Temple, setting up the Snake-Eyed Diablo-Star, equipping the Hida, 10,000 damage. Holy moly, Luigi Gundam, It's been a good run, my friend. Thank you for joining the event with an interesting deck. I'm sure you received a lot of hate for playing this deck, but hate the game, not the players. All right? 2-1 victory. Let's go. Wanted Seeker, grabbing our Diablo Star. We have an Ash Blossom. You do not want to waste it on a Wanted Seeker. Now, the Diablo Star will be setting up a card that you likely want to use that Ash Blossom on, the Original Sinful. Original Sinful, send Diablo Star, Ash, negate. We played so well and randomly milled quite well around the Ash Blossom because now we have a ton of disruption. In addition to the Maxi, we have negate a monster with Arvata, negate a monster with Impermanence, pop a special summon monster or any monster after special summoning with the Promethean Princess, which will then trigger the Garunix, which will pop a Kirin to then summon a body to then pop a card in the field. That's about 4 disruption, which is quite good. Let's go. Special summoning the Terror Top. We are not going to use our Promethean Princess on that, as we Almace equip a Durendal from the deck onto the Terror Top to search our deck for the Flame Swordsman. We have not committed to our normal summon yet. After the Take Tomborg has been special summoned, we are only now going to Maxi on the resolution of that summon, as we now make a Cross Sheep. Taking the Maxi challenge here. Flame Swordsman from a newly drawn Veiler. We're going to negate that Flame Swordsman. Ain't no way. So the 4 original disruptions are fully intact as we drew into the Veil. We're going to further turn this into a Little Knight. Little Knight on summon. What the heck is this? Back-to-back Veiler off the top of the deck? We are going to chain link block the Little Knight from being negated by the Arvata, as we Little Knight chain banish itself to dodge the Promethean Princess. Now, this is it's a situation where if you could trick the Little Knight to using its second effect in the same chain as its first effect, you can negate all of its effects with a Veiler or Impermanence. And that's the case here. Now we can toss the Veiler on top of it. 1 Veiler, double negate. You're not going to banish the Volcanics. You're not going to be banishing anything else. Even though you properly chain link block to your Flame Swordsman, say goodbye to the Little Knight, Reborn Promethean. Arvata is still activatable. We have the Imperm, Arvata, and the Kirin play. Now, the Salamander being sent to the graveyard through the effect of the Flame Swordsman is trying to search the deck for nothing, as the Arvata feels that is worth negating. That's going to be triggering the Garunix, which yep, that's it. Well, let's hop into game number 2, where Slayton now gets to go first. Terror Top should be the entire combo with nothing else needed. Terror Top, grabbing a Take Tomborg, special summon Take Tomborg. We have not committed to a normal summon as we go into the Invoker. Invoker is going to be helping us make an Icejade. Now, you know what the Apollo does, the triple monster negate, plus the special summon negate of the angel statue, but what does the Maizen do? If your opponent breathes, you're going to special summon a ninja from your deck in face up or face down, which could turn into at least a form of disruption. The duplication will likely at least be another form of disruption. And what I'm unfamiliar with is the sword dance here. What's going on? So we're at 6 disruptions so far. This states that if a monster special summon, you could then summon a fusion from your extra deck. And what else could we do? We could flip a monster face down. So that would be 7 disruption. And then the Salamander chain could flip a monster face down. So I would say this is at least 8 disruption, possibly more. We'll adjust it as the plays go on. Yes? We did not summon the Azure Rune early, so we're not able to negate that Diablo Star. That is okay. We're now going to be using the effect of the Sword Dance. A monster with special summon, thus we get to summon the Flame Swordsman and flip down that Diablo Star as we're now down to 7 disrupt. Normal summon the Volcanics, Apollo, negate. Now the Maizen needs to be the direct chain link to a card activating, which does conflict with the Apollo. We're going to Azure Rune, summon, trigger the effect of Silhat, wiping out the original Sinful set from the Diablo Star. Salamandroid Chain, flipping down the Volcanics. We're now down to 5 Disruption. Original Sinful, this could be an opportunity to trigger, or I should say chain the Maizen, but we're going to hold on to that. They already used up the normal summon. Before we could even whip out the ninja plays, they have surrendered. Now, the Maizen has the other ability during your own turn to make it so all of your ninjas can attack directly. So by flipping all of their cards face down, you then just swing right on over. And you could use the Iron Digger to turn a non-ninja into a ninja to then attack directly with. Volcanics is going to be met with an Ash Blossom, which I would say is correct to do. Nicely done. Send the Volcanics for our Diablo Star. What's actually wild about Formula Synchron is, try as you might, you will not find that this card is a hard once per turn on the effect of Synchro. So by making a level 10 Synchro Baron to floor, you could Sprite Elf, Reborn it back, and then do it again. We do have 2 level 8s, but do we have 2 level 10 Synchros? We just have a Baron to floor. We have Untargetable Boar Load, which will negate anything. Formula Synchron, which will turn into a Baron to floor on and negate anything. We have the Masquerena, which will be summonable through the untargetable Flame Burst, which we can't Snatch Steal onto the Boar Load nor the Flame Burst, which will turn into a double banish with Little Knight, Little Knight. And then beyond that, we do not have access to the Garunix. Yes. And destroy one other fire. This could destroy the Kirin. Kirin can't reborn a Kirin to pop a card in the field, but we do have another Fire King in the grave to reborn. So we do have the Kirin play plus the Promethean Princess. About 6 disruptions here. Let's go. Tobari sends to the graveyard to attempt to special summon. That is going to be a big fat negate, mate. I don't think so. From 6 disruption, we're now down to 5. Now, this is a great turn 2 card. That is going to allow us to set up 2 ninja cards, one from the graveyard and one from the deck. Flame Burst is going to be reborning the Masquerena from the back row here, as we, on resolution, turn the Boar Load into likely... I don't think we'll make it untargetable, right? Or we're going to turn the Flame Burst instead into a Baron to floor. It is going to be untargetable. There we go. Untargetable Baron to floor as the Flame Burst triggers to reborn 2 level 1 fires. 5 disruptions to play through. We do have an Iron Digger, which can allow us to target any card on the field to destroy it. If we read that card, we know that this is likely a good moment to, whoa, instead of going into a Little Knight to banish it, we're going into an Apollo USA. So if I considered the Masquerena being double disruption and the Apollo's now here with 4 disruption, that turns 5 disruptions left into 7. 7 disrupt? Untargetable Apollo? I can't take control of it with the Snatch Steal. Kagero, what are we gonna do? We're gonna kill the Sprite Elf and then take control with Snatch Steal? We now can't because of Link Karibo. We make a Maizen. Maizen in main phase 2. Kirin is going to be activated. We're going to chain Maizen, summon a ninja from the deck. No, we're not, because Apollo will negate. We still have the Baron to floor negate, right? We didn't use that on anything yet. That will be a negate and destroy if when we choose to use it. Goodbye to Maizen. Oh boy. Grab a Fire King Sanctuary. Iron Digger, equipping onto the Sprite Elf, banishing to pop the Sprite Elf, and we're totally cool with that. The Iron Digger is going to be triggering to set the Cannon Ninja back onto the field. That's going to trigger Promethean Princess. And we have Baron, Apollo, Apollo, Apollo. Yep, all the rest of the disruptions are still on field. 3 more disruption, as our final play will be the Snatch Steal. Snatch up, or at least attempt to take control of the Baron to floor, negate, and destroy. 2 more disrupts left on the Apollo USA. No cards in our hand, nothing on the field. We are completely spent. So in total, they had 8 disruptions, right? It was 8. They went up to 7, but it was after using a disruption. So 8 disrupts. We burned through 6 disruptions. All right. Slayton, it was a valiant effort. Good on you, my friend. Thank you for bringing Ninja to the tournament. Let's hop into another match. Begin. Huh? What? Okay, yeah. Our hand sucks. We do have Valor, Ash, and a Call by the Grave. Call by the Grave can be quite disruptive against a branded deck. Allure of Darkness, not a standard card in branded. As we banish an Albaz from our hand, Allure of Darkness again. We're gonna brand it in High Spirits, as the Ash Blossom does the unthinkable against branded, negating a non-branded fusion. I guess we're identifying here that High Spirits is going to grab a Mercurier, and the Allure Darkness will banish the Mercurier, which will then grab any Albaz monster. Was that still correct? I don't know. Let's see. Let's find out. Negate, as the Allure randomly draws into a Tragedy anyway. Tragedy searching for an Alibur or a Quem here, sure. We're going to triple Tactics Talent. Look at that hand, get that Valor out of here, as we're left with just a Called by the Grave. We're going to send from the deck a Mercurier, Serenir attempting to banish the Mercurier, as we now Call by the Grave Finger Mercurier, which is what we wanted to add with the High Spirits and then banish with the Allure of Darkness. Thus now, the Serenir does not come out. Stuck in the hand as we Quem to the face for 1,500. Wow, that worked out well. In Grave, we have nothing to reborn with Quem. We're stuck with a dead Bystials in hand. We do have Valor. Valor is our only form of disruption. What the heck happened? We're going to send Gurnix to summon a Diablo. Do we veil the Diablo? We looked at the hand. We know for sure that there is a Snake Eye Oak in the hand. We saw it. Set up the original Sinful. Send Diablo to summon from the deck in Ash. Ash on summon is going to be negated by the Valor, as we now can expect a Linkuriboh play as the Oak then reborns the Ash back on the field. Ash being a fire, thus the Bystials will be no good. First, we're going to Wanted Seeker randomly draw by returning back the original Sinful. Will Charmy, no good. And now we have Oak, reborn the Ash. What do we do from here? Ash, send the Linkuriboh to summon from the deck our Flameburge Dragon. Flameburge, if sent to the grave with the Oak, will trigger to reborn the Oak and Ash back on the field alongside our Sunlight Wolf. Now the Wolf is going to be able to return the Ash and Grave back to our hand. As we now turn this into our Promethean Princess, further reborning another fire monster from Engrave. That's going to be our Flameburge as we turn the Promethean Oak into our Raging Phoenix. Raging Phoenix into Zealantis. Now, this is the normal one-turn kill we all hate or love at this point, but we have Double Bystial. And with Double Bystial, there is a dark monster, more than one dark monster in grave. I don't think that we could win this, right? It's going to be perfectly summoned within the battle phase. The Jerusalem will also trigger when sent to the grave to send a special summon monster to the grave. Promethean, wipe out the Quem, reborn, co-linked with the Zealantis, reborning the Raging Phoenix, swing for 27, 50, what's going on? He was distracted by something else.
Never checked into the bracket, so
If you are in a duel and there's some sort of issue with the bracket, or just ignore it, please. Ignore it. It's not a problem. Gianna will fix whatever issue there is with the bracket or the website. The duel is the #1 priority. So what happened is we toggled off to try to sort some other issue outside of the duel, which do not do that. Just focus on the duel, please. Yeah, that was unfortunate. Damn. How do you know he's playing on an Xbox? How do you know that? Is there a way to know? Wait, how do you say that? Does it say Xbox on here? Allure of Darkness, drawing in a Tragedy. Come forth and banish. We are under the effect of Fua Loss, which is going to be a draw per special summon from the deck or from the extra deck. Not from the hand, not from the grave. Chaos Space, so this is definitely a different way to play this deck. We have Lubellion discarding itself to search for our Serenir. We have already committed to the normal summon as the branded and high... Wow. Non-stop is non-stop negating the high spirits. We do not save our Ash for the branded fusion. Triple tactics talent. Let's take a gander at that hand, return it back in the deck. Huh, that ended our turn. That really did. We do have Ash, and oh boy. 1-for-1 cannot discard a non-monster. It has to be a monster, so thankfully drawing into a monster. Now, the Volcanics itself is a 1-card combo. Not really, it's kind of a 1.5 card combo because we need another fire monster to destroy, which we don't, so Volcanics is dead. But we could use it with 1-for-1, which we could negate with Ash, which we could finger the Ash. We're in big trouble. Big combos are happening. Wait, we didn't even try to Ash? Did we finger the Ash on the previous turn? We're holding Ash for the Ash summon from the deck. That's fine. Poplar trigger, grab from the deck, original Sinful. They now have 2 good Ash effects to be negating with Ash, but we know that finger is here. Poplar equip, Ash summoned from the deck. We're gonna hold the Ash Blower. We're super holding this Ash. Okay. I don't know, man. We out of here. Yep. Okay. Well, let's hop on another one. Begin. Opening of the Spirit Gates into a Droll in Lockbird Mate. We do not play Droll as we cross out Designate Set in Pass. We have a Dead Fool Loss, Maxi in hand ready. We are not maxing yet. Now, it's important to note with the Rescue Ace monsters is they don't work like Diablo Star. They activate to special. Thus, you could hold on to Maxi, wait for the activation to special, and then get them good. If Preventer sent to the grave for a link, that'd be an additional draw, plus the Preventer summoning the banished monster being a draw 2, so we're just gonna wait. Now, Preventer has the ability to flip a monster face down, but we're gonna have to do it in response to a monster effect, allowing us to chain Impulse to summon a monster from the deck to then turn on the Preventer. Only then will we have that form of disruption. In addition to that, we do have Super Poly fuse with the field. Now, you could think that Crossout can't stop Super Poly. It actually can if you are a mad lad genius who preemptively Crossout designates before the Super Poly's activated, and Yubel's a deck that generally does not play Super Poly anyway. Spirit Gates, discard the Spirit Yubel to reborn it. Impulse, chaining to a monster effect. We got to be the direct chain to it to now turn on the Preventer. We are now turned on. Now, this is a ruling situation you want to pay attention to. You could wait for them to activate this, and then you know that it has to destroy the dark monster on field face up. So if you flip it face down, you could then force them to inadvertently destroy a monster in the hand that they did not want to destroy, which is what you'd be doing with the Preventer here. Do we do that? Yes, we do. Nicely done. Flip it down, but they do have a gruesome Grave Squirmer to the rescue. So we just have Super Poly left. As there's nothing to flip, we pop the Squirmer, search for a Lotus with the Nightmare Pain. Fire Engine is going to be triggering because you special summon while it's on the field. Summon from the deck an Airlifter to help set up for a follow-up play. We still just have Super Poly as our only other form of disruption. Normal D-Lotus, summon from the deck, another Spirit Yubel. We're going to Super Poly this right away before they're able to link summon with that current field. Nicely done. Squirmer's going to banish, reborn a monster from Engraver from the hand, as we now come forth and summon our Phantom of Yubel. Well, the magic number of Yubel, there's thresholds. 2,000 is a threshold to deal lethal damage with 4 Yubels. How do you deal lethal damage with 3 Yubels? 27 is the magic number. 25 is not good enough. 24 is not good enough. 28 is lethal damage, mate. Yep. That does someone just saying cringe. Cringing our way to the win. All right. Emergency into the Ash Blossom, negate just like that, mate. We were going to send a monster, then add it back with the rescue, and now we pass with no play. We do have a Droll and Lockbird plus a Super Poly. Huh? How are we bricking, mate? Isn't Yubel one of the most consistent decks ever? We do now have a Maxi. Brick again. Now, the Fua Loss is only activatable if you control nothing. That includes back row cards not being on the field. You definitely do not want to set the Escape of Unchained for no reason. You don't even want to set the Call by the Grave because the Fua Loss is arguably better. Holy, back and forth. Both players back to back, no plays whatsoever. We got 2 Super Poly now. Finally, a 1-card combo play. Droll in Lockbird. Do we finger the Droll? Yes, we do. And we have to now fear the double Super Poly. The Maxi will be negated by the Ash Blossom, and we're not counting it as a form of disruption. Got the D Lotus, send itself, summon from the deck into the Maxi. Ash Blossom, negate. Gotcha, mate. Now, there's a situation where we could have predicted that they're playing Super Poly, which would have then led us to activate Fua Loss early, which we now can't do because the field spell's blocking the usage of Fua Loss. Double Super Poly. Summon for the deck, our Spirit of Yubel. Please get another dark monster on the field so we could fuse it away. By fusing it away, it will trigger the field spell to summon a Yubel on the field. We have Nightmare Pain, grab in the Squirmer, trigger the Spirit Yubel, summon a Yubel, summon the Squirmer, pop Yubel, which will trigger Yubel, and hold on to the field spell. We're not using that yet, as we now make a Cross Sheep. The problem with Phantom of Yubel is it can't be fused away with the Super Poly. It does trigger the Cross Sheep to reborn the D Lotus as we now make a Lord of Yama. Lord of Yama grabbing the Shavara with the Escape Engrave already as we now access the codes. Access code talker is here. Baboost. Banish the Cross Sheep, wiping out the wrong card as we are not able to destroy another card in the field unless we banish the Lord of Yama. Well, we're going to Super Poly fuse this field up in response to the Shavara attempting to summon. Only if you destroy the card do you get to summon the Shavara, thus it's now stuck in the hand. Come forth, Moo Dragon. Now, because we held on to the Nightmare Throne as we were expecting some form of disruption, we are able to return back into the extra deck of Phantom of Yubel as the card is semi-limited. Reflecting that 1600 damage off the top of the deck, we do have a Ash Blossom. We're declaring Dark to make the Fire Rescue Ace untargetable, right? No. It's going to be negated by a Phantom of Yubel. I think we're just trying to bait a negate with the Moo Dragon. I'm not really sure why we did that. Why would we not want them to be able to target a dark monster? You don't want them to maybe Shavara? Is that the case? They can't Shavara target their own monster now? Ash Blossom negating the effect of the Nightmare Pain from popping the Yubel, which would trigger Yubel and the field spell and search our deck. All has been stopped. We set the Fua Loss to pop it with the Shavara, trigger the Lord of Yama, reborn from Engrave to optionally destroy a card of our own, which will be the Yubel to summon. You are summoning the Terra Incarnate. As we also trigger the effect of the field spell, returning back, continually recycling the Phantom of Yubels back into the extra deck. We're going to Super Poly, discard, fuse away the opposing Yubels to now make a Garura. 2400 defense. If we could get it into the grave in any way whatsoever, we're going to get that draw one play. Backed up by a Phantom of Yubel plus an Imperm and an Availer. This is not looking good. Garura, what? Okay, Crim's like, hey, do you take the double reflected off the Garura? I could look at the rulings on, nah, let's just do it. I mean, the chat wants to know, right? Now you know. Thank you. Crim knew the ruling, but you didn't, and Crim wanted to show you. So thank you, Kid Crim. Could have just surrendered, but instead, we swing in with Garura. Pop the Spirit of Yubel, grab a D Lotus, trigger the Spirit of Yubel, plus the field spell, come forth, and summon. Grab it to our hand first, then summon it. Yubel, Terra Incarnate. Oh my Jesus. 15, 15, 15, 15. Lethal damage. Nicely done. Thank you to both of you. Man. Rescue Ace is really falling off, huh? What's going on with Rescue Ace? We gotta unban them or something? Agarine, discard the Mirror Mage, triggering the Mirror Mage to search our deck, as the Agarine can now make a level 10 Synchro here. We're now going to get full Lawson before that Synchro play as we make the Lancia. Lancia is here. Medallion search in our deck for good old George. Now we have Revealer plus Special Summon the George. They, of course, are not drawing cards here. Holy crap, we got full Nibiru with no follow-up play. Well, you know, the Lancia does trigger at least. We get to Trushilla. Trushilla randomly banishing a card from the hand, but banish a card, they also draw a card. Maybe that's not as good. I would still be doing it because we do also get rid of the Nibiru. Okay, sure. Now, I mean, we got nothing. That's it. Let's speed this up. This is Zelantis lethal damage. So right now we got 2 bodies, but we want to have 4 bodies on the field. All right, so I'm just going to count that up. Send, summon, Oak. We now got 3 bodies. We're going to send to summon. We're now at 2 bodies. We're going to equip into the back row. We're now going to be making a Masquerade. It's essentially 2 bodies plus the 4 body play. We got the full play now. That's it. There you go. Boom. Reborn, Zelantis, go Raging Phoenix, then Zelantis. So as you saw right there, building towards a Link 4 plus an extra body, and that's all you got to do. You get 3 bodies to make a Promethean, and then the extra body to pop with the Promethean. Because the Promethean itself is going to be making the Zelantis. Because it's 3-body Promethean, reborn the 4th body, as you already have another 4th body, and wham bam, thank you ma'am. Nibiru is pretty good. Nibiru is good. Again, we have Veiler and Imperm to play around. Veiler negates essentially, this is like a swap frog. Send a body from the deck. Good old negate. And what we have from there is the I'm Seti. You want to ash this very badly. Now, we have to read the ice barriers on field because they have a floodgate-like effect. This states that spell and trap cards sent from the field to your opponent's graveyard are banished instead. Preemptively negating the Lancia, which is massive. Holy moly, that really does suck. We're going to imperm negate the Volcanics. We're going to dodge the impermanence with the Kirin. So you could have the Volcanics pop the Kirin as the Kirin pops the Volcanics. Yup. Or we're going to pop the Arvata in hand instead, grab a Garunix, trigger the effect of Volcanics, trigger the effect of the Arvata, reborn the Volcanics, also triggering the effect of Garunix. We're summoning 3 bodies. Garunix, Volcanics, and another Garunix. With that, we're going to trigger Garunix, pop another Volcanics to trigger the Ponix in hand, which could not have been used in the same chain as the Garunix summoning itself. Come forth, zombie, vampires. We mill 4 cards from both players' decks here to then summon from our own graveyard our Kirin. The Mirror Mage is going to trigger to grab a Revealer from the deck as we further turn this into a Dark. Dark to steal a Dark monster from your grave. Give me your I'm Seti as we now turn it into a Promethean Princess. As Promethean now reborns from engrave the Arvata as we now make a Raging Phoenix, raging into the Zelantis. Now, Zelantis banish the entire field, then return it back. The Lancia has a special ability, though. Lancia, ooh, okay, so Lancia is no longer Synchro Summoned. If the Synchro Summon card leaves the field, you could then summon a Trushilla to get banishing. It is re-special summoned back. Wow, so original. Yes, daring today. We're going to be taking out the Lancia, come forth Promethean Princess. No Trushilla, unfortunately, as the Raging Phoenix reborns. And then we have non-target pop 2 cards in the battle phase. Do y'all remember when this was cool? This used to be a really cool play. We used to pog out of our mind when this would happen instead of an access code talker. How long has it been? It's been more than a year of this. I'm sick of it. 2-0. Ban and pay when? Maybe with the new year, yes. Set 3 pass. We have, again, more Rescue Ace. What is happening in today's event along the lines of Tenpai Dragon? Where's Tenpai? No Tenpai. If there's no Tenpai, then it's time to whip out a deck like Rescue Ace. We're going to call to the grave, finger the D-Lotus, no summon from the deck for you. All right, what now? We are going to be from there special summoning our Squirmer, not popping anything as we go into the Lord of Yama. The Squirmer is now going to be activatable in Grave if we want, as we make the Lord of Yama to search for the Shavara, discard Yubel to reborn the Yubel, pop the Yubel with the Shavara, Super Poly to fuse the field away, thus the Shavara is now stuck in hand. Fuse it up into our Garura. Garura in attack position. We do not want the higher reflected damage from Nightmare Pain. We have a Phantom of Yubel, Ash, and Imperm, triple disruption to play through. Impulse is going to be turning off the Phantom of Yubel. No, it ain't, as it's going to jump off the field. Impulse will also jump off the field to now summon from the deck. And Ash Blossom will negate that jump. Now we can use Alert to rescue a Rescue Ace in Grave, putting it back to our hand, which I think we'll do before ending our turn, right? Add back the Impulse, then we can Impulse summon a monster from the deck. We're going to Typhon instead, well, not instead, we could still Typhon and use the Alert as we use Typhon to attempt to return back a card to the hand. We're going to be popping the Yubel before the resolution of the Typhon returning a card back. Return ourself back. What the heck? Okay, we don't want to give Shavara back, huh? The Typhon does serve as a 2900 to reflect damage onto with the Nightmare Pain, so it does make sense. At 2900, it's 3 Yubels for lethal damage. Yep, okay. Because the Alert is a quick effect, we don't have to use it right away to set up the Impulse. We can make it more of a surprise. In response to the summon of the D-Lotus, we could then alert the Impulse to our hand, possibly. First, going to add a Spirit Gate, additional summon. We are not alerting yet. We're just holding on to it. We have the Spirit Yubel, searching our deck for a second copy of the Nightmare Pain, as we now make a Soul of Rage. We are ready with that Super Poly. Holding on to it. We're going to be triggering the effect of the Shavara to set from the deck the Escape of Unchained, as we now summon our Phantom of Yubel, further turning this into an Unchained Soul of Anguish. This could possibly be turning itself into an access code talker, as it is. You do need your toggle on to use Super Poly, but we can't Super Poly because the Phantom of Yubel cannot be used for a fusion summon. So instead, we're going to be adding the Impulse, which cannot change the access code talker, wiping away the Super Polymerization. Squirmer activating, can't chain Impulse, it has to be a monster effect on the field. Discard, reborn from Engrave, make a brand new Varadros. Still can't Impulse, it just like that, 8,000 damage. We do have Impulse. Greetings from Germany, welcome, Dr. SW1. We have Airlifter grabbing an Alert from the deck. Emergency summon from the deck the Hydrant as we then send the Lifter. We are now going to be adding a Turbulence from the deck as we now Alert, further add a Preventer from the deck. Come forth into Link Rebo, now with at least 2 Rescue Ace cards in the grave. We can banish them to summon our Turbulence or our Preventer. First, you want to set up the Little Knight before summoning Turbulence so that it is fully protected from the impermanence. Now, there is a case where you want to imperm early to play around the Little Knight, because Little Knight will then not protect you. That's when you're going to need Plan B. Plan B would be Promethean Reborn Turbulence and then activate it again. So there's no way where one impermanence could stop this play in a world where we have Little Knight plus a Promethean Princess to fully protect it from that imperm. Activate. We don't even waste it, mate. Nope. Why? No. Little Knight will chain, banish it, and it will still go through. Nicely done. And obviously the Turbulence effect itself is not negatable with a card like Ash. So you pretty much only have to focus on a card like Impermanence. We have Rescue Ace, return up to 4 cards back into the deck, draw 1. Yes, indeed. Now, when you set 4 cards in the deck in Rescue Ace, it turns into triple disruption. the ability to pop a monster, negate a monster, and flip a monster face down. All three are targeting effects. We have Apollo USA with the triple monster negates. On top of the 3 back row disruption, we have 6 total disruptions. And then we have Ash Blossom in hand. Call by the Grave if you want to count that as a disruption, which I'll not for this case here. The Little Knight should be coming back, right? Did we? No, we didn't banish it. We used it off. So there goes 7 disrupt. Emergency into a newly drawn Ash, but we do have Apollo to negate, which we have the Impermanence to negate the Apollo. We are going to rescue the Hydrant from Engrave, so we now can drop our negates and disruptions down to 6. 6 total disrupt, and actually drop it even more. From 6 to 5 to 4, we only have 4 disruptions left. Piri Reese map, grabbing our Dark Beckoning Beast. Dark Beckoning, get searching, contain the Dark Beckoning. Now this is so much more than just containing it and negating it and making it so it cannot declare an attack. We have 3 more disrupts, by the way. What's gonna happen is you now can't turn it into a Lord of Yama, cannot be used for a Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link. That is massive, thanks to a Hydrant being on the field. Very nice. Extinguish. I think we actually just have 2 disruptions. We don't have a way to get Preventer on field. So let's extinguish it within the end phase. And now back to us. Hydrant searching for Preventer. We are ready and waiting with that Super Polymerization. Banishing to summon our Turbulence before it activates. Fuse the field away. You go into a Garura. But we have Preventer. So we're going to use the Rescue Ace HQ, return 4 cards back. Draw 1, banish with Preventer. We're still going to have the play. We're going to banish the Turbulence. And then we're going to link off the Preventer into a Hida. We're now going to trigger the Preventer, summoning the banished Turbulence. It is now back. Back to set 4 more cards into the back row. Now, only if we have a Hydrant will one of them be activatable the turn they are set. My favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card is Black Dragon Ninja. Yes, by far. Come forth, Promethean Princess, which sucks in Master Duel. Promethean, Reborn Hydrant, further Shokaning into our Raging Phoenix. Snake Eye is not the only deck that's able to perform a lethal play like this, but if we destroy the Garura, it could draw into a Spirit of Yubel. Unless we finger it. We probably should finger it, right? Yes, we should. Triggering Promethean Princess, wipe out Garura. Come forth as we Raging Phoenix, target the Turbulence, get boosted by the monster destroyed. It just like that. Finger Garura, no Spirit of Yubel draw for you. Now we still don't know the card in hand. We could assume that it would maybe be a Spirit of Yubel. We're not going to care. We are still going in, and we would be able to pop up to 2 cards non-targeting with our Zealantis effect, taking this into game number 3. Very nice, very nice. We have Dark Beckoning starting this off into a Droll and Lockbird. No more adding from the deck for you, as we're going to hard summon our Phantom of Yubel, ready to negate. We have Super Poly plus the Phantom of Yubel, double disruption to play through. Add a Diablo Star with our Wanted Seeker, getting rid of our Extinguish to summon our Diablo Star. And with that, we are going to be negated on our effect. No set from the deck, as you are now popping a Yubel instead. Come forth and summon. Now, I was saying earlier that Super Poly is normally not played in Yubel. This is a bit different, right? I'm going to be looking at the analytics to see how off base I am on that statement. Poplar being added to the hand through the Bonfire. We have not committed to the normal summon yet. Poplar into a Link Rebo, trigger the Poplar, equip itself into the back row. When are we whipping out the Super? Little Knight is here. Now, you have to understand what the Super Poly and Yubel is. It is a nuclear bomb. It gives you the ability to fuse away every single effect monster on the field, but you do have to have a Yubel monster in order to do so. So maybe the Little Knight's going to try to get rid of that Yubel, so the whole field doesn't get fused away, or we're going to force out the Super Poly. YOLO going for one of the 2 back rows, and just like that, we can't change to the Super Poly as we now make the Loving Defender. we still resolve the effect of Little Knight. We now cannot attack directly. Summon from the deck with the original Sinful into the Hydrant as we grab a Turbulence, Wanted Seeker, return back in the deck the original Sinful to draw 1. Drawing into a very powerful card, triple Tactics talent. Look at that hand, return it back. We do have another Spirit Gates in our back row. Airlifter into the Emergency. Further linking this up into a Nightmare Phoenix on summon, discard Hydrant, pop the back row. The normal summon's already been used. Banish for the Turbulence, come forth and summon, set up to 4 cards into our back row. And with that, we're going to Emergency, summon for the deck a Hydrant, send the Turbulence, use the Emergency to set the Extinguish from the grave, as we now use the Hydrant to activate an alert early. Grabbing a Preventer, banishing the Turbulence, come forth, as we link this up into a Promethean Princess. Promethean, reborn the Hydrants, Preventer, flip down the Loving Defender, Raging Phoenix into Trigger Preventer, reborn the Turbulence, making the ever so powerful and super cool Zelantis back on the field. Everything you go. And with the Loving Defender being summoned face down, we're going to be triggering our Promethean Princess. Promethean, wipe out the Loving Defender, come forth, trigger the Raging Phoenix. Let's get to it. Let's do it. And we now have 11,000 damage. Hey, what, bro? What are you doing? No. Oh, we can't attack directly. We can't attack directly. It's not over. It's not over. Apollo USA. Triple Monster Negate. Little Knight banish the Super Poly. Emergency, summon from the deck a Preventer to then summon a Banished Monster. We have Triple Monster Negate with Apollo plus an Extinguish, a Face Down Flip, and a Contain, right? Rescue can reborn from our own graveyard. We got tons of disruption. We're going to be extinguishing that Phantom of Yubel right here, right now, as we rescue that Hydrant. Now giving the, wait, that wasn't a Preventer. Where'd the Preventer go? I thought we had a Preventer on field. It does not matter. You have Rescue, Ace, HQ, and now we finally can attack. Do we play Access Code Talker? Yes, we do. We can get a super boosted Access Code Talker to 6,000 plus attack using the Apollo USA if we'd like. Banish with Preventer. Further linking this up into a Little Knight. Do not activate Little Knights. As we trigger Preventer, summon the Turbulence. And wham bam, thank you ma'am. 8,700 damage. Let's go. Finished. Rescue Ace got clapped in the earlier match. Another match, Rescue Ace is now clapping. Rescue Ace has replaced Tenpai. Begin. Starting this off with a Full-Loss normal summon alongside a Sigma to make a rank 4 Xyz. What is this, Raziel? Holy moly. Alan Burt is going to be detaching 2 to search our deck for our Circular. How many disruptions do we have here? We have the Terahertz ability to send an Aggregator, which can negate a face-up card in the field. We have Disavorum, which can negate a spell or trap card activation. We have Imperm, which can negate a monster. Ash negate an interaction with the deck. Signet Conflict negate anything, and then you can't use that card again, and it's banished, or names of that same card. And then you have Super Factorial, which is going to be a negate plus send to the grave. That's about 7 disruption, 8 if you count Super Factorial Send as more than 1 disruption, as it sends more than 1 card. We'll just count it as 7. What is good? We're gonna Magician Soul, send from the deck of Diablo Star to come forth in special summon, and we're gonna send Aggregator to now negate that Magician Soul from being able to draw multiple cards. We're now going to Renaud into Renaud, making the Icejade. Icejade on summon will be searching, as we're going to be responding with the Super Factorial, because the main effect of Icejade must be used in an open game state. Thus, that's the perfect opportunity to disrupt it before it gets to that open game state, summoning our Primath Mech, Laplacian. Laplacian on summon's going to send from the field and hand to the graveyard. And we're going to chain Awakening of the Crystal Ultimates, which we have Ash Blossom to negate, now down to 4 more disruptions. We have a negate, Signet Conflict, we have the Impermanence, and we have Deceive Worm. With 4 more disruptions left, we are ending our turn. Of course, Crystal Beast cannot break this field. Heat Soul drawing a card here. To battle we go. 8,000 is enough of the... Hey, Sniper! Holy moly! 20,000 damage! That's nuts. I'll allow it. I'll allow it. It's allowed. That's fine. It's now time for Crystal Beast to pop off against a Ash. Ash will be used on the original Sinful. Very likely. Of course it will. And this is not only a Crystal Beast deck, it's also Centurion. Ash, negate the original Sinful mate. What now? Holy moly. When a spell trap card's activated, send a face-up monster in your back row to negate the activation. Are we playing more Centurion than this? Or literally it's just being used because Crystal Beasts go into the back row? Small world it up. We're going to hold on to the Ash Blossom as they discard Signet Conflict to search the deck. Ash, negate. I don't think so. Negated. Dot Scaper. 1 card. Link it off, then trigger the effect to reborn itself back onto the field. We have no idea what that back row card is. We can now confirm it's not a Call by the Grave Finger. Likely non-impermanence if not used on the Splash Mage. Reborning Dot Scaper back. And with that, we now have Link Decoder. Link Decoder and Splash Mage making the Transcode Talker, triggering the Link Decoder, reborn itself back in the field, Transcode reborn the Splash Mage, turn the entire field into a Terahertz. To battle we go. We are going to send a Deceive Worm in the damage step to play around a card like Impermanence. Now we have a Spell and Trap card negate. Now the problem is the Centurion True Awakening has been awakened. If a spell, trap card, or monster effect is activated, we are going to negate the activation. So we could stop the Deceive Worm or the Ash Blossom attempting to negate the Bonfire. Original Sinful. Return. Okay, Ash negate. We're not going to stop this, are we? We're going to hold on to the Bonfire play. Now, even though we could stop the Deceive Worm, let's watch that right here. Right now, Deceive Worm negate the Bonfire as we use Centurion True Awakening to negate. Just like that, mate. Bonfire search on our deck for Trudea. It actually is a Centurion deck. Now, here's an issue. The Terahertz still has the effect of sending Aggregator to negate a monster on the field. If Trudea activates on summon, then it's not a problem. On summon, put the Primera into the back row, wham bam, thank you ma'am. But if it requires to be used in the open game state, which it does, we are in trouble. Now we're negated. Aggregator, negate the Trudea before it activates. No, Society. Why? Open game state main phase, make your player Trudea. It is over. Again. Again. 21,000 damage per game. Damn. YouTube, that was the top 16. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be advancing into the top 8 grand finale and top deck list right after. Let's do it.